Hey, what's happening you guys? Pyros here and welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to give you guys my thoughts and opinion on the whole YouTube Coppa FTC thing. I'm pretty sure you guys have already seen everybody's reaction to this whole situation. It's a very interesting situation, but I think my take on it now is going to be a little bit different. And I know I'm going to have to put a disclaimer out there right now. My take on this may not be what you want to hear. I don't think you want to hear this at all. It may even piss you off. I may even make some enemies out of this, but I feel like some of you guys probably need to hear this, because if you really want to make YouTube your thing, if you want to make this like your side hustle, because I will never recommend you making YouTube your full-time job. Absolutely not. You need to think of this more as like a side hustle, or something that gives you an extra source of income, or something in which you just want to do it for fun. You want to express your thoughts and opinion on various activities that you enjoy, whatever the case may be. But for the most part, I'm focusing more on a different perspective, so the fun aspect isn't really coming into effect yet. But the idea is that I feel like the whole Coppa FTC thing has really exposed a lot of us, including myself, on how we perceived YouTube up to this point. And I think it really makes sense that now that we're moving into a whole new decade, 2020 and going onwards, we need to change our mindset. We need to change our complete viewpoint on YouTube itself, because YouTube has conditioned a lot of us in a certain way. Like, YouTube has given us this platform, this stool, and pretty much he or she or whatever has put us on this stool, the platform, and has made us feel like we can do whatever we want, that we feel safe. Yes, we know we've been through some bullshit like the demonetization, advertisers leaving the platform. There's been some consistent things happening that has made YouTube seem like a very unstable platform, but for the most part it wasn't too severe. Most of us could have adapted to it, some of us didn't, rest in peace. And then the revival of the animation community, it was a very, very interesting period of time when it comes to YouTube. But YouTube gave us this platform. It made us feel like we could stand on it, we can plant our tree, our house, our garden, all that shit on this weird platform. But at any given point, we all knew this, but we would sometimes just forget about it. It could easily, at any given point, just knock that platform out, and we will all fall. Everything that you've ever built that took you years upon years of building and constructing, it could just collapse on itself within seconds. Like, YouTube has no mercy. It doesn't care that you've built your whole livelihood on this platform. If something happens to it, it could change. And I feel like a lot of us, for the most part, we all went onto YouTube with this mindset that it's gonna be fun. There are two types of people on YouTube. Let's be real. There are the people who actually started YouTube for the sake of they just wanted a platform to express their thoughts and opinion on them. They wanted somewhere where they can just talk and find people who are like-minded like them, or they just wanted to start some controversy. I don't know. But there's a lot of people who just didn't have the mindset of making money. And these were probably more the original, like the early adopters of YouTube, who came to this platform on the sole basis. And obviously some of the new generation as well. I'm not going to try and say like, oh, the old gens were the good gens, but no. Some of the people originally just came on this platform just to have some fun. And then obviously YouTube started introducing advertisements and YouTube program and all that stuff where you can actually make some money. And obviously a lot of us influxed into this platform because we started learning that people were just making mad bucks, mad money. They were living that lifestyle, flexing on us, and we were like, yeah, we kind of want to participate in this culture as well. So the other type of people are people who just want to make some money out of it. It seemed easy enough. Just come on here, put yourself on the camera, say some shit, watch people come in and watch your videos, make some money, and then live that glorious lifestyle, because that's just how it was perceived at the time. Nobody knew the hard work, the studying that you have to do to learn the algorithm, to learn certain, I guess, things under the hood of YouTube to try and obviously survive on this platform. Nobody knew that. Like, we all just assumed from watching it, it was easy. Just come on here, make some YouTube videos, and you should be fine. You'll end up growing. I've seen a lot of people throughout the years be super frustrated, cursing out their viewers, cursing out everyone because they felt somewhat entitled to make YouTube a success story, but it is what it is. But what I'm trying to get at here now, because that was a whole new weird start up to my story, is that YouTube exposed how we all viewed the platform. None of us, well, I can't say none of us, majority of us did not view YouTube as a business. Even like, it doesn't matter how you view YouTube, whether it be your main livelihood, your side hustle, it doesn't matter. Most of us did not view YouTube as a business. And when we are presented with something like the, Coppa thing, it gave everyone a bit of a shock, no lie. The whole Coppa thing kind of made things a little bit frustrating for a lot of us. So I guess, for example, is that with the whole Coppa thing, you had to make two choices. You had to decide whether your videos was made for kids or not made for kids, and both of these options were just not, I guess, easy for most of us to accept. So let's say, for example, you're a YouTuber who knows that your audience is for kids and you are actually purposely making videos to cater for kids. The made for kids option just isn't viable. First of all, you'll lose up to from 60 to 90% of your revenue. All the live quality features that YouTube provides to allow you to communicate with your audience, they'll be taken away from you. YouTube won't even promote your videos. You guys know this. And then the other hand, there's the not made for kids. So this is also a bit of a limbo situation, because over the past couple of years, you guys know this, YouTube has been telling us to be kid friendly, to be family friendly. Like, we were all literally dodging landmines while having lasers pointed at us from outer space. Like, it was fucking dangerous out here to try and avoid from getting demonetized. Now, on top of that, I guess what frustrated a lot of us now in this current time is that we are kind of like in this limbo. Now we don't know how, family friendly we should be, how edgy we should be. It's like we're in this limbo state, and that limbo state is causing a lot of people to be scared, frustrated, annoyed, lost. We don't know what to do. And obviously nobody wants to, mismark their YouTube videos or their channel, because when you do that now, you risk being hit with a $42,000 fine. Now obviously it depends. I've been seeing a lot of people saying that the price will not go up that high. It really depends on who it is, how relevant you are on the platform, how many followers you have, how much influence you have, and all that stuff. And the FTC has also admitted that they're not going to be able to attack every single one of us, but it doesn't really matter, because a lot of us who are small right now, you may feel safe, but let's face it, in your mind you want to grow, you want to expand your little business, and obviously drawing more influencers, drawing more followers, and in that turn you'll end up drawing the attention of FTC. And if they ever find your video that you've made a couple of months ago while you are trying to grind up, and they realize that that video that you've marked not made for kids actually had something that was catering to kids, you could be hit with a up to $42,000 fine. And I think a lot of us just didn't see YouTube as a proper business, because when it comes to business, you have to learn to adapt. And I think that's where it caught a lot of people off guard. They weren't treating their YouTube channels as actual businesses, as in know the laws, know the regulation. When a change happens in the government, in the laws or whatever the case may be quick and be ready to adapt. That's the thing. A lot of people just weren't ready to adapt that quickly, because we only found out, I think, the news happened somewhere in September, but it only started to snowball around November when when bigger YouTubers started talking about it, and obviously made it more widespread and all that stuff. I think, like I said before, the whole Coppa thing exposed a lot of people, and this has created a huge change in people's mindset. As in, there are people out here who are talking about leaving the platform, and I'm not talking about leaving the platform for something else. Like, they're literally just going to be done with creating content online, and they're going to be going to 9-to-5 jobs. There are people out here who are saying that they may have to go to other platforms, they have to abandon YouTube because they won't be able to survive on this platform because the inconsistency is way too much for them. There are people out here who are obviously going to be rebranding their entire shit, like they're going to be either unlisting some of their videos, changing their content, and it is going to be like all three of them already is going to be super damaging for their platform, for their business and all that stuff. And obviously you'll have people like me and the rest of us who are probably going to take the massive risk. Well, you shouldn't be taking this kind of risk because it's $42,000 and that could impact your fucking livelihood. Like that. I was trying to snap it. That first snap just didn't come out right, but it could affect you really fucking badly. But we're all gonna be doing the whole not made for kids option because it seems like the only viable option for us for the most part. Now, we don't know how it's gonna happen. What's gonna happen in 2020 when the thing is gonna be implemented, because we know that the FTC is gonna use maybe, I would say, a handful of YouTubers as an example. They have to. They're not gonna make this whole rule, this whole Coppa thing, and then not end up striking a couple of people. They're gonna end up having to do that, and I think if you want to be on this platform, if you want to succeed, if you want to make this your side hustle, I don't recommend this being your full-time job. Obviously, if you just pay attention to everything that's happened on YouTube over the past decade, it should be a clear sign that you should have multiple sources of income, like multiple sources of income coming out of every direction. Like, you shouldn't make this your main job. This is a great side hustle, guaranteed. It's a great side hustle, and it's also a great opportunity to lift yourself up and give yourself more of an opportunity to do other things. But I feel like it's not the place to be for a full-time job. No, absolutely not. But I feel like side hustle, or if you decide to actually go and do it full-time, it is a business, and unfortunately the business world is not fair. It's not. It really isn't. There's no like, oh my god, I want a happy ending and stuff like that. No, there are businesses who have come and gone because they just weren't able to adapt to the situation. I think that's the big thing I'm trying to get at. It took me 12 minutes, but I'm actually in this. I actually made it to the point. You need to learn to adapt, and you need to accept that for the duration that you're going to be on this platform, you have to be used to adapting to change. Nobody likes change. It's unfortunate, but that's just how it is. Because in the business world, those who can adapt to change will succeed, and those who don't adapt to change will be left behind. That's just how it is. You may not like it, but that's just the reality of it. And I feel like that's what Coppa and FTC exposed. It exposed the different types of people who aren't keen on adapting or don't have the business mindset to adapt. The moment Coppa came into people's attention, two things happened. There are people who are just going out of their way. They're adapting, they're making changes to their channel, they're contacting their lowest, and I'm talking about people who are obviously big, who have like maybe 500Ks, 100Ks and upwards. They're making the changes, they're adapting. And obviously there's other people out there now who they don't want to adapt, or they can't adapt, and they have to leave the platform. Well, they're choosing to leave. They could try and make the adaptation, but it's difficult. It really is, especially if you're someone who does maybe toy reviews or like anime and gaming and all that stuff, and comic reviews. It's in a bit of a grey area. That's like I said before, a lot of people are in a limbo state. They don't know what they have to do, but you get the idea. And obviously there are people who are just giving up altogether. Like come 31st of December, they're gonna leave the platform, and they're just gonna be moving on to something else. I don't know. But I think what I'm trying to say, I'm dragging this on. If you really want to make YouTube your thing, Coppa and FTC is not going to stop you. You just have to adapt. That's just the only option you have. You should always remember that you don't own YouTube. YouTube owns you nothing. They really fucking don't, to be honest with you. If you're not, and also now that I remember this now, YouTube is also saying that they're going to be terminating channels that aren't making them any profit, that aren't making them any viable. It's a really fucking terrible thing, but at the same time, like I said, you don't own YouTube anything. And obviously YouTube has always had the right to terminate your channel whenever they want to. They just have to find a very genuine and good reason, and then bam, you're gone. That was a good snap. Bam, you're gone. That's the thing, like, especially for people who do gaming, who do anime, who do all that stuff. Some of them have already made the attempts to adapt, other people have not made the attempts to adapt, and we will see. The next decade, well, you know, January 2020, it is going to be, call it a cleansing. We're cleansing all the people. We're getting rid of all the people who never had a mindset for it, who never took their brand seriously. That's what I'm trying to. They didn't take their brand seriously. They didn't realize or capitalize on the opportunity that YouTube was providing them. They thought they could just get away with just making YouTube videos and trying to escape the 9 to 5. You know, is it the rat race, rat chase, whatever the case may be. If you really want to make this thing your thing, you just have to adapt. That's the thing. That's just the only thing. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't change Coppa. That's what I'm trying to get at. I know there's a, what's it called? I'm sorry. I just drew a blank here. A petition. There's a petition going around, trying to change Coppa's mind. You can actually go to their website. There's a link that I think I shared in my previous video where you can actually go and talk to the FTC and try to get them to change their mind. But keep in mind, you're talking to people who don't even have smartphones. Yeah. And also, when we tried to do that before with the net neutrality thing, didn't work out. It still went ahead. It still got passed. Listen. I'm just saying, like, the last decade on YouTube has been one of the most interesting things to follow. So many changes, so many adaptation. YouTube was such a volatile platform. One YouTuber could end up jeopardizing the livelihood of millions, and we've seen it back to back to back. Like, I know many of us don't like to blame YouTubers for what happened for the ad apocalypse, but let's fucking face it. I feel like you could blame them, but at the same time, if it wasn't them, it'll be someone else. YouTube was always ready to just explode. It just took someone to finally set the fuse on. So it'll be interesting to see how the next decade is gonna go down. Unfortunately, yes, there's gonna be a lot of cleansing happening. A lot of people will leave the platform, unfortunately, either by their own free will or by YouTube terminating their, their channels. That's just how it is. If you're not viable, even myself, like, I'm looking at my channel right now, I don't think my YouTube channel is very viable for YouTube. So I wouldn't be surprised maybe sometime in 2020, YouTube decides that, because I'm not being viable, commercially viable, whatever the case may be, they can just terminate my channel like that. But it's gonna be interesting as well. Like, so that means that there's gonna be like a gracing period. So when you start your YouTube channel, you'll have a gracing period, which I don't know how long it's gonna be before you have to make your channel viable enough for them to want to keep it. I don't know. So you have to adapt. You have to consistently adapt, consistently change. That's just how it is. Just keep making changes. When there's a new rule that comes out, adapt to the new rule. That's how all these businesses have adapted and survived. I think there was an example of one. Like, if you just look at businesses throughout history, you'll always see ones who come up. They're there. They're the big shot. They do all that stuff. But when a new change comes around, they don't adapt to the change. They think that they can just avoid it. There's a lot of people with this mindset. They think that they can get by just keep doing their own thing, keep to their own traditions. They're not adapting, they're not learning, they're not improving, and before you realize it, it's too late. The new gens have moved on. They've embraced the new change and they've made it viable for their businesses and they've grown from it, while the old businesses who refuse to adapt to the changes and they refuse to, change their business plan, change their strategy, just do all that stuff, and then they end up just going bankrupt and disappearing. I'm trying to think of a company idea that did this. No, I want to say Nokia, but not Nokia. Well, you get it. If you just Google big businesses who don't adapt, you'll see it. You'll see it. Yeah, I mean, I guess one of the examples that I would say would be, I don't want to say newspapers because, you know, they're kind of now adapting, but it took them a while. Landlines are going out of business. Oh, okay. Let's say for example, nah, not this one. Never mind. I was gonna go with something, but never mind. But yeah, that's just my thoughts and opinion on it. If you're a YouTuber who wants to make this your side hustle, you really want to make this your side hustle, because you know it is very profitable. If you're able to succeed on this, you could make this into a very viable side hustle, and you can also use this to build up other businesses and all that stuff. Go on ahead, but come 2020, it's a whole new platform. You have to adapt. You just have to adapt. Change your thumbnails strategy. Be honest with your marketing, and that's the thing. Like for an example, like this. I was watching one of PewDiePie's videos, and one of PewDiePie's videos had an advertisement that really caught me off guard. It was an advertisement for a kid's toy. Like we're not talking about like action figures that adults collect. We're talking about proper kiddie stuff, like pink ponytails, not ponytails, sorry. Yeah, pink ponies, like things that need like super tree and under ads being shown to me, and it's like, huh. And the content that PewDiePie was doing wasn't even kid stuff. It was like teenager, like maybe 14 and upwards content, whatever. And it's like, how will the FTC judge this? Do you know what I mean? The ads probably show that he had a demographic of really small kids watching him. Obviously he does, but it's gonna be interesting. That's what I'm saying. All the big YouTubers right now, they've all probably have lawyered up, have talked to their lawyers, have seen how they could have adapted to the situation. I don't know. I think I've talked too long here, but I think hopefully I've made my point across. It really has exposed the mindset of a lot of people. They just weren't ready for changes. I mean, the other ones that happened, the other obviously the apocalypse and all that stuff, these weren't really big changes. Yeah, they affected your livelihood, but you can still make the same videos. You can still make all that stuff. You just had to trick the algorithm a little bit. And obviously people who did that, they survived and they moved on. And the people who weren't able to do that, they just either left the platform or they just kept going and they just kind of fell into irrelevancy. Anyway, that's just my thoughts and opinion on it. Let me know what you guys think. I'm Pyros, and I'll catch you guys next time.